Well, hey, everybody, welcome to Mappy Hour. This is our happy hour for those of us who love maps, also known as geocachers. So, cheers, everybody. We made it to another Friday. Well, hey, everybody, welcome to Mappy Hour. This is our happy hour for those.
Lisa, you're
Lisa,
muted.
you're muted.
You're
Yeah,
muted, Lisa.
I
Okay.
had to mute it. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
You got that new guy over there who, got to break him in a little bit.
Right. Okay, so we'll start again. So, welcome everybody to Mappy Hour. I am Lisa. Look at Lisa, one of your hosts tonight, and this is our other host.
Speak for you.
Oh, Kid Vegas 19, who has a terrible cold. So he's not going to be doing a lot of talking, apparently.
Silent partner.
Silent partner tonight. Yeah, this poor guy's been working from home last 4 days or so. Yeah, finally starting to feel a little better, I think, but the voice is kind of gone. So, yeah, so tonight's topic is all about muggles and muggle encounters. You know, what do we do when we're caught by a muggle? When people start saying, "Can I help you?" What are you doing? Even the police shows up sometimes. But before we get to that topic, I will kick the cat out of the room. Just a moment. Yeah. Milo says hi, and he'll be back later. There we go. He leaves me alone all day until I go live on Zoom. Then he's got to come and visit. So, but before we get to our topic tonight, we'd love to know what sort of geocaching adventures y'all have been up to. If you've been out geocaching or planning on some caching adventures, or maybe you've been out hiding caches. So, love to know what folks have been up to. For our section called Notes from the Field. So everyone will get 2 minutes to share whatever they would like to share, and then we can move on to our topic. But before we get there, I do have some ground rules just to keep everything moving along smoothly. As you all know, this is being live streamed to our YouTube channel. So I keep everything family friendly. Treat this like you would any other geocaching event. And if you'd like to join in the conversation, just raise your hand if you're with us in the Zoom room, which I see we've got a couple of hands coming up already. And if you are watching us on YouTube, hey, YouTube folks, Kid Vegas 19 is going to be monitoring you all. So just go ahead and type into the comments if you've got something to share or join in the conversation, and he will nudge me and I will probably read it for him. So, oh, more folks in from the waiting room. There we go. And those are the basics. No sports spoilers. Luckily, our game doesn't start till I think almost 7. So our go Mariners this year. Been exciting to watch them. But yeah, those are the basics. So let's go ahead and get started from notes from the field. Robert, go ahead and kick us off.
All right. Yeah, it's been a fun past few weeks. Sorry I wasn't on last week, but I have my brother-in-law's birthday, so family comes first. I started things off in the week by solving a new puzzle cache that involved pineapple and Sudoku, and was then about a 50-foot climb up into a pine tree. So I'll put that geocache in the chat in case people want to take a look at it. I also then hid my 15th Earth cache over in Barbados. So some of them are still waiting to be found in the Caribbean islands that I've hit them on. I suspect it's people waiting for International Earth Cache Day, because when you're on an island and you don't get around much, it's good to save those one caches you can for that one souvenir that you want. And then I've also been hiding several new caches around Broomfield, just because I heard about the new virtual cache coming out. So I just want to cover all my fields and make sure that in case there's a technicality of after the announcement you need those 5 caches, maybe not, but I'm just making sure just in case. And then finally, my trackable hotel that I have in my neighborhood got awarded the TV Hotels of America's 5-star Bug Award. So I was thrilled for that. I've been trying for many years to try and work that out. And I finally had a cache and a location and everything worked out to make that a reality. So I was absolutely thrilled to have that happen.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. One of the new caches I hit up in a pine tree where you have to climb 60 feet up to get it.
Oh my gosh, 60 feet.
Yes, I made it a five difficulty, 4.5.
That sounds, yeah, appropriate. Oh my goodness. I think I'll pass on that
And
one.
finally, Hello Kitty wants to say hello. This is a new trackable I picked up. Hello.
Hi, kitty. That's awesome. I don't know if it's appropriate for you to share the tracking code or not, so it's up to you or the owner of the trackable.
It's mostly to the owner. I don't usually post tracking codes because they
Yeah.
sometimes get mad when mass discoveries start showing up on their trackables. So just show and tell for now.
Okay, perfect. Good. Cool. Well, thanks. We'll be sure to wrap you back in quickly when we move on to our topics. I know you've got a time limit.
I'm actually gonna wrap it up things here. I'll probably stick around for like four more minutes, and then I gotta head off to my nephew's soccer game. So this will be my only speech for the evening.
Okay, cool. Well, go Nephew's team.
Indeed.
Awesome, thanks. So I think we've got, I saw Tom Fuller was next, and then Lori, and then Scott.
Yeah, I got an email. New cache appeared. Yeah, on the inside the caldera of the Newberry caldera.
Hmm.
You can drive to the top of Paulina Peak. Then I had to hike down the trail, and about 100 yards off the side of the trail, over next to a cliff, where I found a pill bottle. First to find. It was published the night before. So it was about a 750-foot elevation climb to come back up. Yeah, it took a little over an hour to get back up, about 40 minutes down.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yep. And while I was up there, I signed for the challenge cache that's where you have to find a high elevation cache and a low elevation cache. Uh, you have to find one that is over 8,000 feet elevation. Top of Paulina Peak is 7984. So
Oh,
you have to go
cool.
somewhere else. And yeah, I think I'm going to be going up to the top of Mount Bachelor. Somebody informed me that there's a cache on the top of the mountain up there. So it's easier than driving down the Steens Mountain. You
Mhm.
can drive down the Steens Mountain and drive to a cache that's over 9,000 feet. But yeah, it's a very long drive for a day. Let's see. Yeah, somebody found my A. Dot Spring uh, puzzle cache after 2 years. So
Wow.
yeah, you had to figure out the precise coordinates, and then there's a very difficult set of roads to get into it. So yeah, but it's been found. So that's yeah, and people keep finding the one and only in Bend. It's average about 22% favorite points.
Nice.
That's all for today.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Boy, you've had quite some adventures. Usually when we're going for a cache, you go uphill first, find the cache, and then come back down off the mountain. But you got to do it in reverse order, so that's kind of different. Cool. Well, all right. It's Lori next.
The mouse didn't want to cooperate. Um, so last week I got some cool things happening. I got my first and only block party of the year. Probably will be the only one for the year. Um, while I was down there, that made that the 8,000th find for the year.
Wow.
So I've had two major milestones this year, 7,000 and 8,000. And then on that day, I also got 213 caches. And that may have had to do with an adventure lab stage along right there near Wilsonville, Oregon at a rest stop with 75 stops. I still have the O and the R, so it's a geo art in the shape of Oregon, and in the middle it has O and R. I have yet to finish the O and R, but I got the outside of it, and so that's what I have been up to. And then I've
Wow.
just and I know JD talked about adventure labs and just going through them and going through them and not reading them, and I was trying really hard to read some of them, but at some point in time, I just had to go this, so that I could get my numbers up so I could make the block party as my 8,000. So that's why I haven't done the O and the R yet, because I want to go back and finish reading the ones I did and then read the O's and the R's as I do them.
Way past 7.
Yeah, and then Alondro wasn't paying attention to his numbers and shot way past 7,000, so he missed the block party as his icon. But I kept saying, just watch your numbers, take your time.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just going away and answering them. But no, we had a good time. Rode around, we took our bikes down and was riding around there, and I had a very nice encounter. First close up, face first encounter with a blackberry bush off of the bike. I think my saving grace was my helmet kept me from going completely into it, so my face didn't get it, but my leg has a pretty gnarly bruise on it from hitting the bike when I fell. But got up and kept riding, kept on going.
Oh my goodness.
So, whoops. So
Well, it
that's
sounds like
my field notes.
okay. Well, sounds like some pretty great adventures for sure. Yeah. You've had a very busy year, so it's been fun following you around. Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked at my stats for the year, and I'm at 1,500 fines for the year.
That's
Yeah.
all.
I know, that's all. He's over here, that's all. He's gotten more adventures than me. Yeah, just over 1,500 for the year. So I've already blew past last year's numbers.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Good work.
Alondra over here is going, I'm at 2,300.
Well,
So,
thank you for the
you're welcome.
report. Appreciate hearing from you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think we've got Scott and then Skyhawker.
And then after Skyhawker, you want to.
Oh, okay.
All right. So found some caches. I think I set some caches. I'm not even sure of that because I've been so busy getting ready to see hiking seals in San Diego. Tomorrow we're going to go down and it's packing party time, and I got boxes of stuff over here and a car already half full of stuff. So that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. But the most significant thing that I've been doing is working with these little NFC tags. A friend of mine has started to use the little NFC in geocaching, and I asked him for a lesson. He gave me a lesson, and one of the gadgets that I'm taking down to San Diego with me is this one that has directions on how to do these NFCs. And really what I'm trying to do is encourage people to get out there and start using these. And for those who don't know what an NFC, it's a near field communication. You've been using it for years to get into hotel rooms, or now you're using Apple Pay and other pays. So all the cell phones now have the NFC readers on them. And it's time, I think, to get these out and become another aspect of geocaching. This particular one, it's going to be a gadget cache, part of the adventure lab that we have, temporary adventure lab. So you have to scan this one to get the number to the padlock. And then once you get inside, you have to scan another one to get the code word. And there's going to be about 100 NFC tags in there with directions encouraging people to go out and start using these. And then when I get home, this is going out in the field again to distribute NFC tags to anybody who wants to use them. So that's it. And that's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on, or certainly, going to be very busy the next week or so. So
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
us, is there a special app that we need for using
There's
them?
not. They're they've become so prolific that they're built right into the phone. Don't need a special app. Having trouble with Apple with iPhones. The two iPhones that we've tried to use, we did have to download a special app, which is really weird because iPhones by default their NFC reader is turned
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
So not sure. When we go down tomorrow and have our little packing party, I'm gonna test it out and make sure that it works the way that I want it to work. Don't want anybody to get frustrated uh, getting introduced to something new.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always got a beta test. We learned that the hard way on lots of our geo tours that we did. So cool. Well, keep us surprised as how everything goes.
I will do that.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. We've got Skyhawker next.
Well, good evening. Been a couple weeks. We got back Monday night from our 8-day trip to the Midwest. Flew into Minneapolis, went up the next day, and that was a week ago last Monday. Went up the next day and got Alvin's phone line, which is the oldest in Minnesota. Had a nice day, weather, no problems, no mosquitoes. 5-minute walk in, 5-minute walk out. And then the following day, we drove from Minneapolis to almost to Rapid City, South Dakota, heading over for the South Dakota oldest. We managed to the next day get the oldest, or the second oldest, I guess it's an argument, in South Dakota. For those of you that do the oldest caches, you know that there are two in South Dakota that were published the same day by the same guy, and they're a little ways apart, and they're one alphabetic letter apart. So there's a lot of debate about which is which, and I don't know where he is or he's ever, come in on the issue or not. But anyway, we took the easy way. We did the easiest one, which wasn't that easy. A tremendous amount of bushwhacking over dead trees, a lot of deadfall. Made it up to the top, got the cache. Took Annette and I 3 hours round trip. Up a very muddy, wet. It had been raining the day before. A lot of huge puddles in the ATV trail portion of it. You had to actually bushwhack around the puddles. They were so big. But it took us 2 hours to get up and an hour to get back down on these 80-year-old legs, but we made it. So we got Camp Cache, and then up to Bismarck the following day for the oldest in North Dakota, and then the last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning we spent in Disneyland for geocachers, Gilby, North Dakota.
Yeah.
And it is truly, for those of you that have been there, and for those of you who haven't, you got to go. It is amazing. Tricaches, Chad, the guy that does the gadget caches up there, is a master. And I think what we ought to do, those of you that are influencers like Scott and Lisa and JD and some of the reviewers, we got to lobby for a Hall of Fame for headquarters, a geocaching Hall of Fame. I think that'd be a cool idea to have a geocaching Hall of Fame at headquarters for people who have significantly contributed to the sport. People like the guy that, the first geocache, first geocache find, the first geocoin, mountain bike, people like that, and people who've done, really good things. And this guy is absolutely the master at gadget caches. They put together what they are calling at least for this year, the Gilby Geo Tour, which are 29 of his gadget caches. They are all superbly put together. Amazing. None of them are the same. They're totally different. covering all different aspects of gadgetry. I could talk for an hour explaining them all. I took pictures of everyone. They're just incredible. But one thing I did want to show you, if I can share a screen, Lisa,
Oh,
I
hang
wanted
on.
to show you the picture that they took for the group photo for the event on the event on Saturday, if I may.
Yep.
There's a significant reason for doing this, and you'll get it in a second, if I may. This is the group photo. And for those of you who've been longtime Mappy Hour participants, you'll remember that early on, the first year or two, we had a young fellow from the Gilby area that was always on, Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
And then after a couple of years, he disappeared. He just dropped off and we didn't hear from him anymore. So one of the things we wanted to do when we went to this event was to try to find Luke. And first we ran into, we asked around, everybody knew who he was, found his mother, talked to his mother. And then eventually she told him we were looking for him, and he came and found us on the trail. And he was there at the event. So I wanted to show you Luke. That Luke is here in the center of the picture, right up against the mural in a yellow jacket.
Okay.
That I don't know if I can zoom in. I guess I can't zoom in, but right in the center, right in front of the car, he's the tallest guy in Gilby. He's 6'4", and this is him in the yellow jacket right up against the wall. About 4 people in front of him is a fat guy with a blue shirt and a jacket on. That's me, and Peach is right to my left, right in front of me. But I just wanted to show you that Luke is still alive. He's still around. He's living in Grand Forks now. He's still a nice kid. I don't know how old he is, probably 18-ish. Got a job and living in Grand Forks, but he was there for the event and well known. AFAM was his caching ID.
Right, that's right.
I just wanted to share that with you to show you that Luke is still alive and well. And one other thing before I sign off, it relates to what Scott was just talking about. One of the caches on the tour is this one. I wanted to show you this one. And let me see if I can get back here to the Zoom app and share this photo. This particular cache uses RFID, which is very similar, I guess technically the same type of deal as an NFC. What you have to do, there is an RFID in the cache, a receiver, and another chip that you use to match these two pieces up once you get into the cache here and get into the cache. In order to access the actual log, you have to match up the RFID chip with the other RFID receiver. You have to figure out how to do that. And then the drawer, which you can see open on the left side of the picture, pops open and you access the cache. So when you first open the cache, there's something you can get that will then match up with an RFID chip, and the two pieces, when they're together in contact, open the drawer. So this is an example of that type of technology. So since Scott mentioned it, I thought I'd share that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was one of the caches on the Geo Tour.
Okay.
Great fun.
Well, thanks for the report. Yeah, we definitely have to get out to Gilby one of these days very soon. So I know there's so much to do. It's been fun hearing, about the RFID and the chips, and it made me think way back to the Chirp, Garmin's Chirp, which was kind of the first blush at this, but it was proprietary to Garmin and could only be used on special Garmin handheld GPSs. So it's been interesting to see the evolution. Now anybody with phone today's phones, can use these other newer technologies and how they can be integrated into geocaching. It's been fun watching that happen. Cool, thanks. I think there was one more.
Yeah, Ronald, and then we'll
Ronald.
get to the.
Oh yeah, wait, Ronald, we'll do the YouTube and then get to Ronald.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hang on just a second. I need to, which one is it?
All of them.
Oh, okay. So we've got a couple to catch up on from YouTube. We have Great Two Forever. Been geocaching for 14 months, just found your 1000th cache last weekend, and you had your 21st cache this weekend. Oh, good job, you guys. Wow, you're kicking it for your first year. And Bell on the Move, hey, says he's working on gadgets for a Maker Faire at the California Bay Area. Oh, Bounce now will be sharing gadgets and running the geocaching HQ booth on Saturday and Sunday. Cool. And Houston, Texas Dave says hello, Mappy Hour. And Great Two Forever says, I agree with a Hall of Fame. That would be neat to visit. So there's definitely 2 votes for that. Yeah, I know there's a museum here and there, but a Hall of Fame is a really cool idea. So thanks for that. I'll have to see about promoting that. Do I need to pause? Oh, I got to mute. So we'll go ahead and jump to Rob.
Okay. This is for Scott. Several years ago, here in local Jacksonville surrounding area, there was a few of the NFC things. There was a lot of people who didn't understand what the hell was it. So we gave them education and they liked it, and nobody really put it into their cache. Then Garmin, several years ago, came up with the chirp, which if your GPS had the chirp capability, then you could do it. And of course, I had it a few times, but eventually people around here upgraded their GPS units, and cell phones didn't have it unless you got the app to do it. But I had it on one cache where you had to use the NFC, and half the people didn't know what the battle was, so they gave up on the cache and walked away. And other times I even did a chirp. They didn't even understand that, but that's happened. So be prepared, Scott. Some people are going to be very hesitant about it. I'm over.
Cool. Thanks, Ronald. Yeah, I agree. It was, trying out new technology can be challenging, but that's how the game has evolved as well. I'm thinking back to Rome, one of the going cachings. They had that, was it AR technology?
It was a RFID.
RFID? Okay. And it didn't work very well. Now I was thinking of something else, but now I can't think of what it was. But yeah, the RFID, that one did work fairly well in Rome, but there was something before that.
Yeah, they had it in the coin, the NFC in the coin,
Mhm.
and it wasn't working well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
most credit cards now have that RFID thing, and the
Mhm.
bad guys, if they have the scanner and walk by you, they could pick up your RFID chip and steal you blind. They've created an easy way, but downfall is the bad guys just need a little scanner and walk by you, and they got you.
Yeah, it's always a challenge keeping everything private and safe when we want to also share things too. So yeah, technology
Just
definitely gets used the wrong ways.
take my strategy, just be poor.
Be poor. Oh, okay. Scott, you've got your hand up. Did you have something to add or?
Well, I forgot to say congratulations to the Mariners for making the playoffs. They are still the only team never to win a or never to lose a World Series game.
Or win.
Or win, yeah.
Well, let's keep it positive. Never to lose a World Series game.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Ron, I'm hoping, what you're talking about is 12 years ago when they had the chirps, and I'm hoping that um, people and phones and their touched with technology has improved. But thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Garmin has discontinued the
Yeah.
chirp chips. So if you find them out there, it's because of somebody's has a bunch of them, or it's reused.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right.
And the
Thank you.
NFC, of course, is dime a dozen now. You can get extra chips and program them for whatever, but just be leery. The bad guys know about it.
And Kathy says, go Savannah Bananas. Yep. I've been dying to catch them at a game. That just looks like so much fun. I've watched some on YouTube and such. So who I think we'll go ahead and move into our topic then, which is all about muggles. So I'm sure how many of us have been approached by a muggle when we're out geocaching?
Never.
Yeah, never? Oh. And how did that go? Specifically, how did you explain geocaching to them? Did you explain geocaching to them? Did you say you were doing something else? Maybe I've always found that people that are curious, muggles that are curious, the curious people make the best geocachers. So it's often easy to, explain geocaching like, oh, that sounds like so much fun. And then show them how it works. I don't know how many times in the last year even, I've opened up the app and showed them, what geocaches are around their area, and they've just been blown away. And we're going to give it a try. So, yeah, so I wanted to talk about muggles and how we handle those encounters. And on another note, I'm working on a refresh of a muggle card. If you remember back in the day, we would sometimes have cards that we could print out or carry or purchase. That is something that you could actually hand to somebody. This is what I'm doing, and to better explain it. And having an official card makes it a little more official. So I'm looking for feedback on how to also build a better card, basically a refresh of what a Muggle card is. So I'm taking notes tonight. And if you have something specific about that, go ahead and type it into the chat or mention it in when you raise your hand to share. So I see we've got a couple of hands that have come up. So Scott, did you have
Yeah, I can
get
talk
started?
about muggles. Sure.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
because there's a long history, and I guess I could probably talk for an hour about Muggle contacts, but I'll reduce that. But yeah, in the early days, your GPS was a phone, and you would just try and hide what you were doing if you were contacted. I remember a significant lie that I'm like, oh yeah, we're all botanists, and we're looking at this particular plant, and trying to find out these insects that are going. But over time, honesty is the best policy, and it's also the best way to get people involved. And have had explained it to muggles who actually help us start looking for it.
Yeah.
Kind of embarrassing when the muggle is the one who finds it, but that's happened a couple of times.
Oh.
In law enforcement, honesty is definitely the best policy for law enforcement, and have had um, a couple of officers help me look for the geocache. Now, in retrospect, I think they're just checking out my story and they want to see what kind of drugs I'm going to find. They're going to find. But yeah, but that's, and then I have a couple premium accounts that are extra, and one of them I go ahead and will invite people to go ahead and use it. I'll give them the username, I'll give them the password, and say go out and look at it. And with their, because it's a premium account, they can look and see everything. So, yeah,
Mhm.
and occasionally, I mean, the account probably has about 200 finds on it. So, a few people have used it.
Wow, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think those of us that have been caching a long time, we definitely have lots of stories to share about muggles, and maybe some of us even started because we saw a geocacher, or we're curious about that. That would be really cool if that's the case.
Can I
Scott,
share a quick story?
yeah, go ahead.
So, so one time I was out geocaching on my way to work, which is at like 5 in the morning, and apparently somebody saw me and called the police. about 6:30 in the morning, there was three officers showed up at my door, and I was at work. My wife is at home, and they're like, "Is Gregory Miller live here?" That's the G and G Scott, by the way, and she. And the sergeant like, oh no, it's all okay, and this is what we're asking. Oh, she was geocaching, so everything was fine. I started geocaching with a friend of mine, and after about 2 years, we're sitting there talking, and I had, well, how'd you get into geocaching? Well, we got this report, and I was a reservist, and this woman explained what geocaching was. That's how I got into geocaching. So there we go. All right,
Awesome.
that's it.
I love those stories. I do have
That's right.
Bill on the Move from YouTube says that he has a business card that he passes out when he gets caught geocaching. It has a QR code. I love that idea. To the Geocaching 101 website page. So yeah, QR code, we can totally work with that. I love that. That's an awesome technology. Speaking of technology, to take a hard link into a soft link that, then connects to something else. So you can totally expand on it where you don't have to cram everything onto one little business card. So thank you for building that. Awesome. Dick, did you have some stories to
Yeah,
share?
I would start by saying my experience has been when I've encountered muggles and had muggles approach me when I've been out geocaching and I talk to them. It's always been a good experience. I've never had a really bad experience. They always, once you explain to me, I found if you take the time to explain to them what you're doing and how big a sport it is and how it's all over the world and everybody's involved, they seem to say, "Oh, okay," and they're interested. And sometimes they follow up, sometimes they don't. But it's always been a positive experience. I would, I would give you two quick examples in one story. One quick example: I was in a park in Las Vegas, looking at a hedge behind a bench, found a bag of either crack or meth crystals, which I promptly took to the police station, turned in, and they verified it was drugs, right where the cash was supposed to be. Another quick incident I had was out in the desert near Las Vegas, was stopped by a BLM ranger. And we got to talking, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I know what that is." He said, "I used to geocache down in New Orleans." He said, "I found one day that had pot in it." And he said, "I took the pot and left him a ticket," which I thought was kind of a cute story. But the one I wanted to relate to, the story I wanted to tell you, was I was in a parking lot in Seattle, in a business park on a Saturday, and there's a lot of evergreen forest type, it's not open area, and nobody was around. I pull in the business park. There was an LPC cache, um, in a on a light pole that was in kind of into the edge of the woods. So we got out, Peaches in the car. I walk over to the lamp pole, and it turns out it was one of these fake switchblades stuck on the lamp pole. So I pull that off, and I'm signing the log. I've got my back. I'm standing in front of the pole with my back to the parking lot, and all of a sudden I hear this female voice behind me asking me what I'm doing. And I turn around and I, initiate the conversation and start to explain. And she says, "Oh," she says, "Okay." She said, "Well, I'm the property manager. I just happened to drive by and I saw you here." She thought I was urinating on the pole with my back to the parking lot. So,
No.
but she said, "Oh," and I explained to her what this was and what we were doing. And she said, "Oh, okay, well, that's pretty cool." She said, "We're getting ready to replace all these poles. And I'll remember this and make sure that when they put the new pole up, they get it attached to that one," which was kind of a real positive response. And that's the kind of
Yeah.
the thing I've run into. I've never had really a bad experience. I know other people have,
Mhm.
parking lot security guards, things like that, but I have not.
Well, that's awesome. That's hilarious that you were using the poll for other purposes. Chris.
All right. I was trying to decide what story to tell. I got two. One's really short, and then one's the main feature. So this is the preview. So this was actually local here in Utah, maybe about a year into my caching career, and I was out caching with my cache buddy, which a lot of you know, Daphne, Daph-M. And it was before phone caching. We were using our GPSs, and we were in an area that was a new development, so we didn't have street maps on the GPS. So we're like trying to figure out how to get there, and we're like, you know, going in here and doing all kinds of U-turns and that. And we end up on a cul-de-sac. You know, we finally were at the cache, and we realized it was a front yard cache, and we're getting out of the car and about to head for the cache when a police car pulls up behind us, and you know he's kind of stern with us. So he's like, "What are you doing?" And you know, we turn to talk to him, and we see two other police cars blocking the cul-de-sac. And it was like, "What's going on?" And we both, you know, before we even said anything, we just held up our GPSs, and you could just see him go. Apparently there was somebody in the area. It would, you know, I don't know how much you guys know about Salt Lake in Utah, but this was Utah County, which is the most religious county in the state, and you know everything about Mormons who are very conservative and don't drink, smoke, etc. Apparently there was a mom who was in a Saturn. We were in Daft Saturn, who was running around selling crack, like she was delivering it, and they thought we were her. So it was kind of like, oh, okay. That was interesting. So, okay, that was supposed to be the short story. All right, the long story. I was driving down to going caching one year, and I was by myself, and I drove from Utah to Georgia, and I was in Podunk, little town in middle of nowhere. I was actually trying to find the cache because my log is pretty entertaining on it, but I couldn't find it by the time you called on me. Anyways, if I find it, I'll drop the GC code in the chat. But I pull up and I start looking, and it's like on the main street in town, but reception was bad. I couldn't quite figure out where to look, so I'm looking, and this woman like pulls up. I should mention it's about midnight, okay? And she pulls up and goes, "Can I help you?" Oh, and I should also mention I was searching on the front of the police station. And she's like, "The police station has moved, you know," because there actually was a sign in the door. So I did happen to know that. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I know, I'm good, thanks." And you know, she didn't pursue it because normally my go-to is to explain geocaching and all of that. And she just drove off. But she clearly just drove around the block and called the cops, because about 5 minutes later, the cop car pulls up, and the driver is an on-duty officer, but he had clearly picked up his buddy. This is really small town Georgia, okay? Who he was wearing overalls. I mean, totally looked like Gomer Pyle from the Andy Griffith Show. And they both get out of the car and it's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And, you know, I start explaining to them geocaching and all that. And the on-duty officer, he was really kind of interested in asking me questions, all that. And the Gomer Pyle dude's, you know, looking at my phone going, "Isn't it across the street?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." Like I said, the reception was bad. So the three of us truck across the street, and I'm still talking to the one guy, you know, filling him in about geocaching and all that. And we kind of narrowed down where to look. And I was kind of halfway looking, but I was mainly talking to him. And the other guy is like real into it. He's looking and he's looking, he's looking. He goes, "Hey, is this it?" So the cop found the cache. So I think that is probably my all-time favorite Muggle and Geo-Leo story. But, you know, it's just a couple of guys trying to protect their town from this strange lady who's groping the former police station. So, that's my Muggle story.
That's hilarious. I love it. Tom Fuller, I know you've got a story or two, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been quite a few years. I was in downtown Chicago, and the cache was the east end of Route 66 at the intersection of North Michigan Avenue and Jackson Boulevard. And there was only one place it could be. It was underneath the distribution area for the post office, not the ones you drop the mail into, but where they pick up their bags to go deliver mail. So, okay, so I tied my shoe leaning against the box. And I spent some time tying both shoes. And yeah, I got them. Yeah, I got that cash without any questioning of anybody. Must have been 50 people walked by. So, yeah, it was a very busy corner. And I've also been down at the bottom of a, well, I guess I would call it a canyon here in Oregon. But there was a bench down there at the bottom, and it was evening time. Somebody else had hiked down. I had the cash behind my feet underneath the bench.
Oh no.
I waited until they were out of sight before I put it back exactly where it belonged. So yeah, I've had a few muggle encounters, but yeah, those were a couple of memorable ones.
Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah, I remember I've had many, but one that just popped into my head was a very long time ago, probably 20 years ago. And it was up in Green Bluff area. Yeah. There was one in an intersection, there's a big sign that shows all the different businesses and such that are in Green Bluff. So for those of you that aren't familiar with this area in Spokane, it's just north of Spokane and it's up on a bluff. And it's a very fertile area, and there's lots of farms that they have retail stores. And this time of year, especially at fall time, and going forward probably the next month or so, it's pumpkins, apples, everything that they're harvesting. And they've got, fun stores and souvenirs and tchotchkes and wine tasting, and there's just a lot to do. Um, but so there's all those signs and such, and I went up to go get this cash, and there's somebody parked right by it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so I'll just park back a little ways and wait for them to move on. And they don't, and I don't. And then we're both waiting. Turns out they were another geocacher. We were waiting each other out. We finally figured it out. Honestly, I don't remember who it was at this point. They're probably not caching anymore, but that's happened for sure. You try to wait the muggles out, but then it turns out that they're actually a geocacher. And yes, there's many times that you're talking about using your back in the day when it was a handheld GPS, then you would pretend it's a brick phone to talk to somebody. I've done that many times, and now I use my phone. I'll pretend I'm taking pictures, especially if we're parked on the side of a road for like a guardrail cache and somebody's coming by. Suddenly it's like, oh, look at this beautiful landscape, and we'll take some pictures and pretend that that's what we're doing. But if anybody ever asks, I agree with you, Scott. Honesty is the best method, and just let them know what you're doing. And and like I said before, those curious people are often make the best geocachers. So I know you've got a lot of stories, but you really can't talk much. Do you want to try to share anything? No.
It's the same as you as waiting out another. I was waiting out a muggle, and it was during lunch hour, and I eventually had to leave, and came back after work and found it, and then went home to log it. This is back in the days when I would log on the computer, for sure, because you sort of had to, and the person had left a log that she had to wait out a muggle, and finally they left. It was me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those were the days, huh? Remember, there were times where you'd hold up your GPS and people like, okay, that's what you're doing. But yeah. Are any other stories or thoughts that I should be thinking about to include on a refreshed sort of Muggle card? Yeah, Chris, go ahead. Oh,
I
please.
put my hand down. I forgot to hit the mic. So I bet you many of us here have a shared experience interacting with Muggles. Have you guys done, I can't remember the name of it, but it's Bounce Bounce's Cache. It's in Issaquah, and I think it's currently on the Geo Tour, the one with the 6 red poles. and
Yeah,
you've got to
yeah, we
hit
did it
a
when that first
button.
brought it.
You
Yeah.
got to hit a low button and a high button, and it takes 3 people to
Team
do it.
people, yeah.
Have a lot of people. Lori, you've probably done it, and
Mhm.
yeah. But anyways, so again, Daff and I were there, and we're like, "There's no way we can." It's like stretch. Nope, can't do it. We had to recruit a third person, so we're like standing out there waiting for somebody to walk by, and finally this guy walks out, and we're like, "Hey, do you know what geocaching is?" No. Like we're trying to explain to him what we're doing, and he's just like, really? You want me to hold this button and kick and hold this button down here? Okay. And we got to the cache, we showed him what we're doing, and he just walked back in shaking his head. He came out because he was using the restroom. They were having a porta potty in back of the restaurant because there was some kind of issue with the restroom in the restaurant. So the poor guy came out to use the restroom, and we like accosted him to do this cache. Yes, that's it, Lori. Yeah. It really did take 3. And well, that was our Muggle interaction. We just got him involved.
That particular one came out during GeoCoin Fest when they had it at Issaquah. We did it, yeah. And I think it took 4 because she's short, so.
Oh, yeah. I only count as half a person, as we know from home caching. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious to recruit a muggle to come in and help us do this. Poor guy probably, has to use the bathroom. Thanks. Scott, go ahead.
I don't know if it's going to work on your card, but one of the things when I get contacted is to say I'm geocaching. It's a location-based game similar to Pokemon Go. And most people have seen or heard or know about Pokemon Go, and it seems to give them a focus that they understand. So I don't know if that would work on your card or not, but
I
there's a
think
thought.
so. Yeah, yeah. I've used that many times now. I say, have you heard of Pokemon Go? And they're like, yes. I said, well, it's just like that.
Except it's not.
Yeah, but you find real things in the real world generally. And yeah, before 2014, we didn't have that reference. And so it made it even more challenging. But now we do. So thank you for reminding me. That's a really good one.
I think also your Muggle card will work. So we've run into lately not just straight up Muggles, but people who used to geocache.
Yes.
And then we tell them what we're doing, and they say, "Oh, I used to do that," and so they know about it. And then maybe something on your card can get them back into it.
That's a really good idea.
I mean, that trip up our trail in Wallace, Idaho, there was 2 sets of people that day.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
They're like, oh yeah, I've geocached before. And I didn't even think to look for geocaches. And I pull up the app and show them all the ones that we had done. And they're like, oh my goodness. So yeah, some additional thing, maybe that QR code, some way to welcome them back, to draw them back in to geocaching. Because I know we've lost a lot of folks that either they just got bored or things changed or the life circumstance changed and they stopped geocaching and maybe they'd like to come back. So good. That's really good. Thank you for that. Great.
Got to come up with an Uggle word that means used to be geocachers.
Oh, like a mudblood or I don't know. Lori?
So I stopped in at Arby's yesterday and I happened to have my geocaching shirt on, or one of your tees on. And the kid just caught me off guard because his name was Geo, Geo.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you're a geocacher. And I said, yeah. And it just totally caught me off guard. And he's like, yeah, I'm Geo. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I walk away and I realized he must know what geocaching is. So I turned around and went back and talked to him while I was waiting for my food. And it turned out that he is a geocacher. He used to do it with his family, I think, a while ago, but doesn't do it much now. But when family come out, he does it with them here locally. So I just told him, I'm like, hey, we're a pretty active group here in our community. We do a lot of events. And, great way to come out and meet us and get help and, go out caching with, a group of people. And so I don't know if he'll come. I told him about Bounce's event that's happening in October. And I said, that's a really cool event. It'll have some escape rooms. I was just trying to psych him up about it and, invite him out and let him know that we are an active group here. And, events would be a great, good one, Scott. Would be, a great way to, maybe start coming out and doing it again
Mhm.
and being a little more active.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were wearing our shirts, the Venn diagram ones, when we were doing the Pulaski Trail. And people like, oh, I get it now. We mentioned that we were geocached, and he goes, oh, now we see it on your shirts. Okay. Because they were familiar with it. So it does help to have some gear or something with you. Lori?
Do you have a new feature on there that automatically takes away the hand? Every time I go to lower my hand, it's already gone.
I do not, but Zoom might. Mhm.
Okay. I've tried twice and I'm like, oh, my hand is already down.
It's already gone. No, it wasn't me, but Zoom is always changing things, so they probably do.
Oh, eggs are done. Thanks.
Well, we are coming up to the top of the hour, so
So Jim, Mountain Goat Jim put in a link to.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Pink Labs. Oh, is that a
that's this one here. Yeah.
okay? So that would be another example of a muggle card. So cool. I'll take a look at that as
That
well.
was originally from a site called the Geocaching University that went away in 2016.
Okay.
And so I think that was what I printed out at one time and carried around.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I know some of our friends north of the border had some as well, and geocaching.com has sold them in the past.
Yeah.
But I looked on their website and it's not there anymore. And I'm looking for something to give away as a freebie, just as a digital download that people can print out and use. So yeah, so thank you everybody. And thanks for that link too. So check out. Yeah, I do remember the Geocaching University. That's too bad that it went away, but
I think as a thank you for all the contributions, you should put QR codes or whatever on your card that will take people like directly to Mountain Goat's profile or Bell on the Move and thank them directly.
yeah, sure. Yeah. Cool. Well, I thought we would maybe go into pet check and I can go check on the poor kid that I kicked out of the room earlier.
That wasn't me this time.
Yeah, you didn't check out. I didn't kick you out of the room. So I'll be right back. I'll go see if I can go find him. I think he's pouting upstairs. But see if anybody else has some pets or that they'd like to share.
I think it worked. I'm not sure. I see Zoe. Jim Starcasher, what's that one's name? It surprised me, huh? Mike Gardner, what's that one's name?
I haven't given it one. It just showed up in a cash crate 1 month.
That does happen every now and again. Everybody, this is Mr. Hilo. As you all know, yeah, he's a bit of a talker. And unfortunately, he's been taking on the habit of talking much more around 4 o'clock in the morning. But
Luckily, he's deaf, so he's very loud, so we can hear it.
he's not completely deaf. He can definitely hear, but not as well as he used to. So,
Or he chooses not to hear one or two.
yeah, Robin's got a friend. Who's your friend, Robin?
This is Lily.
Hi, Lily.
Hi, Lily.
What a cutie. Yes, Hilo. You want to see the cat, the puppy dog? Awesome. Cool, everybody. Well, thanks for sharing. I think we'll go ahead and wrap up
Yeah.
Mappy Hour. I'm sorry to report that drinks are full price now. Our hour has come and gone, but thank you everyone for sharing your fun stories. We have, you have more stories to share. Oh, somebody's yelling at me. And your stories about Muggle encounters and you know what we've done and what's happened to us and how we can better represent our game, our obsession, and appreciate y'all sharing ideas for my refreshed or a new version of a Muggle card. I'm not refreshing it. I'm coming up with something new. And yes, tonight is sponsored by Cash Advance. Thank you, Scott. I was getting there. Those of you that got the email, you might have seen I've got a few new items at the store. We've got in some really cool ammo cans. If you are a member of the Cash Crates or the Hero Crates, you've already seen them. They have come to you already, but we do have more back in. Let me grab a quick link. Hang on a moment. And I'll put it in the notes or in the chat here. Just over at cash-advance.com. If you scroll down just a little bit into our featured items, you will see we've got a mini ammo can. It's not the little minis. It's about 6-7 inches.
It's nice.
It's a good size. Yeah, actually I've got one right here. Let me grab one. Yeah, it's a nice little size one. So it's not a full size one, but it's a little bit smaller.
So here's Hilo for reference to this. Well, okay.
It's a big cat. Doesn't really work. Yeah, Mike's got his there. Yeah. So all of our Cash Crate members actually received one of these full of some fun stuff a couple months ago. And then we have another, it's a can in a can. So it's two different ones that fit. One fits inside of it as well. And both of those are bigger than this one. So you can use them, as a fun multi-cache or two separate caches.
So no excuses, people. Let's see some larges out there.
Regulars the other one could be used as a large. The gray or tan colored, khaki colored one could definitely be used. Yeah, they're like nesting cans. They do fit inside of each other. Yeah. So check those out. We've got some that we would love to rehome and get them out in the wild, so then we can go find them as geocaches. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
That's funny. You got Invisiduck.
Thank goodness they disappeared. There he is. Thanks, Mike. I love a good rubber duck, actually. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We will see you all in 2 weeks. Same cache time, same cache channel. Take care and happy caching, everybody.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.